NFL Power Rankings 24 to 21. Let's rattle 4 teams off first. Number 24, I have the Commanders.
I got the Bears at 24.
At number 24, I have Chicago Bears.
I also come in with the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I mean,
You're coming in
You're coming inside them?
Chicago Bears?
Sure.
Wow.
Tough.
Need more Fields. We're here. Call it what you want.
I should be laughing like a little girl, but I am.
did you guys have the Commanders in the first 8?
I did not.
Okay, so they're higher on your list.
They're coming soon.
I had the Commanders, 26.
Okay.
They're coming soon.
The Commanders I like. It's just a quarterback play. I just really don't know what Sam Howell is going to be. And Ron Rivera is not the best coach. The front 4 is really good. Linebacker, not that good. Secondary, outside of the safeties, they're up and down. But the Commanders are a good team. It's just really the quarterback plays holding them back.
Yeah, the Bears, I think we're doing a lot of projecting offensively. We think Fields will take a step. We think DJ Moore can unlock things. Khalil Herbert, obviously RB1. Defense has been overhauled, at least at linebacker. There should be some improvements there, but it's a lot of projecting with this team.
No doubt about it. That's perfectly said. It's the idea of what Chicago can be offensively. We still understand defensively they have some things to work out. They did add some pieces in this offseason to address their needs in the defensive side of the ball, but realistically, it's that idea of what can Fields be, not only as a rusher, but as a passer, especially now that they add DJ Moore, for sure. So you said you had the Commanders at 24.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. That's fine.
Number 23, I have the Denver Broncos here.
I can't say I don't I understand where you're coming from. We're riddled with injuries. It's tragic, honestly, if you ask me. I have us a little bit higher out of respect for not just Sean Payton, but, of course, our amazing defense and Russell Wilson, who will continue to be our franchise quarterback.
This is where I slot in the Commanders.
Okay.
I have the
23.
Panthers at 23.
At 23, I actually have the Atlanta Falcons.
It's not with the Broncos. I'm just very doubtful that Russell Wilson is going to be a great quarterback again.
That's good to know, man.
Above average.
Can't wait for the Denver Broncos to clip this.
I'm with you. He sucks.
He sucks.
Jerry Jeudy is going to be out for the first couple of weeks.
Mid.
The wide receiver room outside of Sutton is really improving. You don't have good tight ends. The offensive line.
Respect Dulcich. That's wrong.
Run blocking, you're good, but pass blocking, you're not.
And
Marvin Mims Jr.
And Talman really has nice rapport with Russ.
And the defense is great. It was great last year, but K'Wan Williams is going to be out. He's already hurt. And I don't like the front 4. I don't think you guys can generate pressure at a great level.
So long as Randy Gregory is healthy, which seemingly is never, when he's healthy, he's great. He's a great football player. Baron Browning starting the season injured. That's absolutely brutal. Baron Browning was one of the reasons why I was okay with trading Bradley Chubb. So, again, I understand your concerns. I'm not going to sit here ignorant or, hard-headed at the fact that we've been absolutely destroyed with injuries. Your feelings on Russ are different from mine. Obviously, I'm always going to believe in Russell Wilson. He's been dealt a shitty hand so far, but now we get Sean Payton. There's a little bit more stability at the head, a ton more stability in the coaching department. I think that Russ is primed to bounce back very strongly.
Number 22.
I'm sorry, I'll explain the Falcons real quick. Falcons I have at 23. Last year, they were an amazing rushing offense. Their defense was not that great. They made a ton of additions to bolster up that defense. That with bringing in Jesse Bates. I believe Calais Campbell also was brought on, even though he's a vet at this point, like a strong vet towards the end of his career.
David Onyemata.
For
Brady
sure.
Jarrett's
There was definitely some great additions. They brought in cornerback from the Detroit Lions, Jeff Okudah, who was a high draft pick, really hadn't proven too much up until this point. I think that was a great move. It's just a matter of proving it for me, especially the fact that Desmond Ridder is their quarterback. That's the main thing holding me back with this team.
Number 22 for me is the Falcons. That's where they come in here.
That's fine.
The Russian offense is elite. They just got Bijan. Arthur Smith is going to be creative with his offensive design. And I think Ridder will be serviceable. When he played late in the season, outside of his first start, the 3 games after that, he was good against really good defenses. Drake London got targeted a ton. Now Kyle Pitts comes into the offense. I think anybody that has Kyle Pitts in fantasy should be raving at the fact that Mariota is not his quarterback anymore.
Understandable. Mariota really missed some wide open shots with Kyle Pitts.
22 is also where I also have the Falcons. Improved offense, improved defense, had a great draft. I'm here, man.
22.
I have the Falcons at 22 as well.
Okay, perfect. 22, I have the Commanders here. I believe that this offense should be solid. The defensive line's a force to be reckoned with. But really why I'm a little bit higher on them is that defensive line. The defense is going to be solid. It's going to be a solid unit. But really, it's the idea of Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, Curtis Samuel, Antonio Gibson, Brian Robinson, with Sam Howell at the helm, but really held down by Eric Bieniemy.
Number 21, this is where what you said earlier is perfect. Some of this, I can't let my projections get into the way in my power rankings.
No doubt.
Number 21 is the Packers. They're unproven.
Love it.
But the roster, the defense is talented. Joe Barry, I just hope he can get the scheme right and they can be better in the rankings. But offensively, elite offensive line, Jordan Love was not pressured in the preseason at all, did not take a sack. Christian Watson, I think, is a star. He is a star.
I'm not going to
disagree. Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon. If Jordan Love just manages the offense, doesn't make mistakes, game manager, I think the Packers can be a 500 team.
There's enough talent on this team for him to do exactly what you just said. Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Aaron Jones is one of the quarterback's best friends. He's just an amazing receiving back at the running back position. I'm with you. 21, Green Bay Packers.
For me, I got Detroit here at 21.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Riv, that is bad.
Yeah, I do have 21. I have Detroit. Yeah, I didn't realize. Oh, my God. Yeah, I got
It's not that bad.
I got 21. I got Detroit. I have Green Bay a little
No,
higher
that's
than this.
bad.
Originally I had Green Bay at 20, but you guys have convinced me to switch my 2021 spot. So I'm going to put Green Bay at 21.
Okay. All right.
And at 20, I just go back to back.
Yeah, let's just go next batch of 4 teams,
Okay.
NFL power rankings,
right.
20 to 17. Who do you got at 20?
20, I'm moving the Saints to 20.
Okay.
That's where I have the Saints too.
Okay.
Okay. Yo, you got my Broncos high.
A little bit.
I do have the Saints at 20.
You're making me reconsider.
What do you have at 20?
Right now, I have the Denver Broncos, actually,
At 20.
because the injuries that we've gone through so far to start this, not even the season, because realistically, regular season hasn't even started. We lost Judy. The defense is in shambles. We don't have Baron Browning. We don't have Quan Williams either. Tim Patrick's also injured. We just traded, not that Alberto was a huge part of this offense, obviously, but we were in the position of keeping skill position players. I know that he wasn't the world's best blocker by any means, but he was fast. He had some solid hands. I thought that's someone that we should have kept on this roster. I like Dulcich a lot. I definitely do. Troutman definitely has great rapport with Russ. I'm not going to ignore that. But I got to see it. I love my boys. I trust in them. I believe in them. It's just that these other teams underneath them, the only one that I could have contemplated to switch with the Broncos was the Saints. But I just feel like on the offensive side of the ball, they have more talent than us. At the running back position, for us, I believe Javonte Williams is amazing. It's just a matter of what percentage of the snaps is he going to see and how early on in the season is he going to get a good portion of the workload. It's just too many question marks for the Broncos for me right now, which hurts my heart desperately. But I have to be honest with myself. I believe in the Broncos that they can have success. But as we currently stand, it's tough to move them higher than 19, 18 at most.
With the Saints, they just made the Derek Carr addition, to be honest. That was the biggest addition. I just don't know how much better he's going to be than what Andy Dalton was statistically last year. And Andy Dalton was a better deep ball thrower last year. He was solid, man. He had a really good season. So for me, the Saints' offensive line is always getting hobbled up. They're an aging roster. It's still good. I don't think the wheels are going to fall off like we saw with the Colts. But I don't think the Saints are going to be this team that we're looking at the NFC and they're a legit threat. I think they are in this mediocre tier of teams in the NFC.
I understand.
Yeah, a lot of these teams kind of jumbled together that they could be 18, they could be 22. They're kind of all in this tier.
Number 19, this is where I have the New York Giants. I have the Giants at 19. It's the defense I still think is going to be average to below average. The offense, I'm not a believer in Daniel Jones. Darren Waller's injury prone. Brian Dable, coaching masterclass last season. But the two teams I have above the Giants, I think they're just better rosters. They have the coaching, and they have a better quarterback.
At 19, this is where I slide in the Saints. I believe that for all the reasons that you said, they'll have a solid defense like they do every single season. I do believe that Derek Carr is an upgrade. With Alvin Kamara missing 3 weeks, we'll see a little bit of Jamal Williams. We'll see a little bit of Kendre Miller. But 3 weeks off for Alvin Kamara. First off, it's a blessing that he got that. If you are Alvin Kamara, he could have definitely been suspended for more than just 3 games. But you take that time to rest up, you get ready for the season. Alvin Kamara with hopefully a healthy Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, who he's proven already to me. You have Garrett Wilson at top. Chris Olave is right there for me. He's a special player, and I believe that this offense will have success. So I just can only limit them so much because, again, that division's weak. It's not so much so that I believe that they're this great team, but I just think that they're the best team in their division.
This is where I have Denver. Got Denver 19.
Understandable.
The offense can't be worse than what it was last year.
No way.
Sean Payton comes in. I don't think you're dead last in scoring.
Can't be.
While the offensive pass catchers are definitely worrisome, Judy avoided IR. That's
God.
huge, right? So he should be back within that first month of the season. I'm a big Marvin Mims fan. I think he could take over that wide receiver 2 role. And Sean Payton's going to rely heavily on the run.
Absolutely.
So Javonte and Samaje Perine, that's going to be, I think, a bulk of the offense. And your defense is elite year in and year out. So overall, I think the roster's fine. It's just like Joel said, is Russ going to be Russ or is Russ going to be a game manager? That kind of determines the ceiling for the team.
It's just the question marks. We have too many.
You know, the thing about the Broncos, the real reason why I'm low on them is because they're going to be a run-first team. That's why they got out and they signed Mike McGlinchey and Ben Powers. They want to run the ball, and they want to run it a lot.
That's another one who's injured, Mike McGlinchey.
Javonte Williams, Samaje Perine are good running backs. The offensive line is solid, but nothing special. If they're relying on the running game to be their bread and butter, for one, having a run-centric attack already has a low ceiling. In order to maximize it, you have to be elite at it. And I don't know if the Broncos are going to be an elite rushing team.
Javonte Williams does have the skill set to be. It's just a matter of how clean is he going to look.
It's going to take probably halfway through the season. Then maybe you see the old Javonte.
I will already say this. The fact that he had snaps in the preseason,
great sign.
It's giving me unbelievably great vibes that he's going to be ready and ready to rock week 1. I won't say he'll be the Javonte Williams that I know he can be, that we've seen some flashes of in weeks 1 or week 2, but I think around that week 4 period, we'll fully start to see him unleashed. And I can understand your concerns, but I think that he does have that talent. He does have that ability to be a dominant back in this league. And it's just going to open up the play-action pass, which is Russ's bread and butter.
It's just with the AFC, you have to compete with Herbert and Mahomes.
But against Herbert tough. And that team, you need to be great in the run.
Yeah, but
we can be.
If you're getting into shootouts with those guys,
but our defense necessarily can stop the Chargers. We've beaten the Chargers. It's beating the damn Chiefs. It's beating the fucking Raiders. We can beat the Chargers. Our defense is good enough to beat the Chargers. It's definitely good enough to beat the Raiders. We just have to do it.
So can I just go back to back?
Who's your number 19? Yeah.
19 is where Denver slides in.
Who was 20 for you, bud?
20 from you, Saints.
Got it. Okay.
19 is Denver, and then 18 is the Minnesota Vikings.
I also have the Vikings at 18.
Interesting.
Defensively, they didn't make a ton of moves, but Brian Flores coming in, I think, matters a ton. He was able.
Like my 17.
He was the first year in Miami. They had the worst defense in the NFL. Year 2, they were top 6. Year 3, they were around like middle of the pack. But then once he left last year, they were like the 23rd scoring defense or whatever. So when he goes to a situation that defense improves, even though the Vikings personnel defensively might be the same, I think just his coaching and his scheme is going to improve the numbers as a whole. And we know offensively what we're going to get with Jettas. Addison's there now. Kirk Cousins is as consistent as it gets.
TJ
It's going to be so fun.
Wider, like third option, fourth option, really, in that offense. It's going to be fun. I mean, listen, the Vikings at 18, I can understand it. You know, the defense is worrisome. The offense is not as good as their counterpart in the NFC North in the Lions. But to me, I kind of want to give that respect to Kirk Cousins and to Justin Jefferson and to what they got going on.
That's definitely
13 wins. So 18 to me, this is where I had the Lions slated. Just because
are we disrespecting them?
I need them to really go out this year and prove it to me.
Gonna beat the Chiefs week 1?
I don't think they will.
That would be a crazy upset.
But they started the season off poor. They finished the season off very strong. Offensively, I have no questions. Ben Johnson will call a top 10 offense again. Jared Goff will have a good statistical season. Amon-Ra will be a top wide receiver. There's no doubt. And I think Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery are upgrades over DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams.
Best lines in the game.
Yeah, no doubt. Offensively, I have no questions about them. And I think offensively, it's better than the Vikings. defensively is kind of where I have some concerns. I just trust Brian Flores as a defensive coordinator and maximizing talent. So for me, they've gotten a lot younger. They've gotten a lot faster. So for me, I just don't want to just write off the Vikings and say they're going to be horrible. I'm not the highest, but I want to wait and see it out first. So
I will tell you very transparently, you will hate where I have the Lions. At number 18, this is where I have the Titans slated in. Missing the playoffs last year, in my opinion, was inexcusable. They had the division on lock. They choked it towards the end of the season. You do add DeAndre Hopkins. It's a reason why I moved them up in my power rankings. The lack of secondary is concerning. They were one of the worst pass defenses in the game last year. What saves face for them is the fact that their rush defense is the cream of the crop. It was number 1 rated last season. It was phenomenal. But it's the concern of that offensive line. It's a concern of that secondary. I do think that they'll be a solid team. I'm not disrespecting them in my opinion. At having them around 18, is Treylon going to break out? I believe in Treylon. But now that you have DeAndre Hopkins, of course, that was the concern of his knee and how is he going to come back. Being back at practice already is huge. DeAndre Hopkins, that's a strong duo. But is Tannehill going to have the adequate time to get the ball out? Are they going to run a quick schemed offense where they're making quick passes, they're running screens? Derrick Henry now gets a little bit of a leeway now that he has 2 receivers that he can rely on once again, and he's not seeing a stacked box consistently. But there's just better teams in my opinion. I can respect Coach Variable, but there's just better rosters in my opinion.
That was 18?
This is 18 for me, correct.
17, this is the last one, right?
Rattle it off.
last one.
Who was 18 for you, bud?
18 was the Vikings.
Got it.
17, this is where I have the Giants. Wasn't as low.
You had them at 17 too?
Got them at 17. I wasn't as low. Would you have them at 22?
No, I had them at 19.
Oh,
Yeah,
19.
right there.
Okay,
Yeah,
my bad.
yeah.
I don't know why I thought it was lower.
I felt like it was lower too.
Yeah.
That's just it. We talked for a minute. That's why.
We did, yeah.
I got Giants
I think
17.
I feel like them, because the Titans, to spoil, are going to be 16, are very similar. That when we're talking about these teams, it almost feels like we talk about the head coach first. So when you're talking about the rosters, they're kind of on par with each other, these two. I had the Giants just one spot below. You have the all-pro left tackle. You have the running back. Waller's just a question mark to me. Jalen Hyatt is a question mark, at least to start this season. Maybe later on he could become something. Defensively, the front four should be elite. Secondary, still need to see some things. There's some holes on this team, but being in the NFC, they're 17th, but in the NFC, they're probably going to be like, 6th best.
Where'd you have Green Bay?
21.
Where'd you have Green Bay?
21.
Where'd you have Green Bay?
21.
Yeah, I gotta fucking hate me next episode.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
17, I
Ain't
have the
even named
Titans
them
tdo.
yet, man.
Okay, 17, I can respect that.
Yeah.
Who do you have at
The
17?
DeAndre Hopkins addition was huge for them.
It was.
Derrick Henry, still going to be elite, man. You know,
I'll tell you what, that DeAndre Hopkins addition moved them from, I believe I had them 24, 25, all the way up to
So
18.
you're the real Jordan Love guy.
and Harold Landry's coming back too. That's big.
I have Green Bay and Titans pretty high. I'll be honest.
At 17, this is where I have the Browns slated, man. As of right now,
Really?
I have not been overly infatuated with what I've seen. Deshaun definitely.
You think Detroit's better than Cleveland?
I think that, in my opinion, they're safer.
Okay.
That's what it
I
comes
mean, I
down
feel
to.
like
true.
if Cleveland was in the NFC, they'd be safe.
I think that the upside of the Browns definitely is there, and that's for the fact that Deshaun Watson is just so much, at his best, clears anything that what Jared Goff can be.
the
But
defense,
from a roster
Cleveland's
perspective, the Browns are.
Cleveland's
they're
defense
They're
clears
stacked,
Detroit.
but I feel as if it's predicated on what Deshaun Watson
I
can.
So you're
haven't
just
been-
not
haven't been
confident that Deshaun
overwhelmed.
Watson coming back.
I haven't been over.
That's
Deshaun
what I'm
in
saying,
preseason,
man. He really
I
hasn't been.
I haven't been.
He
moved a lot.
bounced back with the 2 touchdown drives
17,
in that
though?
Kansas City Chiefs game. That was
I don't have.
At
But
not
even then,
mine,
that was
but-
muddy. That
At
game was kinda
minimum,
muddy.
the
I
run
agree.
game's going to be there. The defense is going to be elite. So that's at minimum. Even if Deshaun isn't that,
I'll
that's
say
what's going
this
to be
though:
there.
the Browns' defense was supposed to be good last year. It was not.
But they just added Zadarius
They added
Smith.
so much pass.
Like, they got
rushers.
better.
The pass rush is they have that luxury of having Myles Garrett that the attention is just going to be on him. I'm with you. That pressure is going to be immense. But even still, the rush, I believe it was the rush
defense
defense
wasn't
was
good.
terrible.
But they improved
And
on that,
the secondary when Denzel Ward in there, it's definitely not the best either.
Greg
but I'm with
Newsome
you. The
was,
pass rush is
I
great.
believe a rookie last year.
Yep.
Martin
Yeah, but
Emerson, he's young.
Denzel and Greg Newsome is fire.
No, yeah, they're
Yeah, it's fire.
firm. I mean,
It's
I get the
it's just
Deshaun. I
it's
get the
just-
Deshaun.
correct. And listen, this right here, this to me was a safe spot for the Browns, where they definitely, very strongly, are the most volatile team. Where they definitely could be
I mean,
so much better.
They
than
won
that ranking.
7-8 games last year with Jacoby. So
Jacoby played very well though.
He played
No,
better
he's
than Deshaun.
no, Deshaun,
That
he
defense
missed
was
2 years of
sketch.
football.
That defense was sketch.
He got better, man. But I don't have him. I don't have him like high. I don't have him like 10 spots out of 17, and probably like 3, 4. But Green Bay, get ready for it.
Here we go.
Yeah.
So that's gonna do it for the next batch of our power rankings. Next one will be released.
So what are we doing? 16 to 10 or 11?
16 to 9.